What's going on, guys? I'm back, and today I wanted to, instead of a basic workout video, I wanted to discuss calisthenics and weightlifting because that's like a big thing for me that I love to do personally. And I wanted to explain how I do it, what it kind of is, how you could incorporate it, why it could be useful. Firstly, everything I'm explaining is just based on my personal experience and opinion. I'm not going to say I have the best ideas or the best knowledge or I have the best progress, but the progress I have seen in the past 5 months have been pretty significant. I mean, I've gone from a 0 pound pull-up to a 70 pound, and I'm to the point in my handstand work after about half a year where I'm now working on one-arm handstands. And personally, I've seen progress that takes much longer. So I'm not gonna say my method's the best, but I would say it's rather effective, or at least it was for me. And the reason I believe calisthenics and weightlifting incorporated together could be a great way to exercise is one, the accessibility. For calisthenics, you're able to train at wherever, whenever. And I also personally believe, now I don't know if this is scientifically true, but calisthenics has really like thickened the muscles you don't see, if you know what I'm saying. Like with handstands, it's all your upper back and shoulders, and it just gives you more of like a sense of control, like around your body and shoulders and back, and it helps prevent injury. So I wanted to talk about that today, and I have a few different parts and points that I want to discuss, and yeah, I'll get right into it. By the way, I'll put some videos of me and my progress up here so you can kind of just see my progress and what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just wanted to add that. So okay, getting into my first point and most important point is your priorities. It really, you gotta sit down and think to yourself, what's most important to me? Is it calisthenics or weightlifting? Because a lot of what I'm saying really depends on what you want to do. If you really want to work on skills in calisthenics and body weight, then shift away from lifting more and put more of your time and energy into calisthenics. If you just want to do a little calisthenics, you think it's cool, you want to give it a try, that's totally cool. You can do that too. Just keep most of your focus on weightlifting. You really got to know what you want. I have struggled with that when I was transitioning, and it did hurt my progress in both areas. If you're aimlessly, oh, I'm gonna do a little of this and a little of that, and then I'll go do that, it'll work, but it's not efficient, and it'll take much longer to achieve goals in every area because you couldn't decide which you want to do more. Decide what you want to do, and then secondly, decide what your goals are in that area. So let's say calisthenics. Oh, I want to do a one-arm handstand. Then most of your training will be one-arm handstand. Everything's about consistency here. That's why it's important to know what you want to do and stick with it. When I was learning the bent arm press to handstand, I was trying every different method to learn it, and I didn't learn it or get good progress until I cut myself off. I said, stop. I need to focus on one method, and I need to perfect that method. So, and that's when I finally got it. And if I had better programming, I would have gotten it in probably a month earlier or so. Once you've decided what you want to focus on most, I'm just going to assume that you want to just get your feet wet with calisthenics. If you have a main focus, I recommend going all in on that focus. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to assume you don't know a ton about calisthenics, but you're interested. Firstly, for handstand work, handstands is mainly just shoulder endurance and wrist strength and upper back strength, surprisingly. The only real way to train handstands is to do handstands. So for handstand work, go up against a wall, hold it against a wall, make sure you're strengthening your wrists and fingers. When you're doing handstands, you can train handstands every single day for an hour and a half a day. And overall, after probably the first week or two, you will be fine and you won't feel any muscle fatigue. If you really want to unlock handstands, my biggest suggestion is work on it every day. It doesn't need to be for an hour a day, 10 minutes a day, 15, the more the better. But as long as you're working on it every day, you will get it quicker than everyone else. Or there'll be days when you don't want to do it, but you just gotta keep going. And that applies to everything, but also handstands when we're talking about training. Planche and front lever, we're getting a lot more into the advanced kind of stuff, and that's when you really got to think about your programming and how to most efficiently do them, because you can't do them every day. The annoying thing with calisthenics is a lot of it is joint strength, The planche is a little more advanced, but if you want to do it, totally possible to train. I'm still kind of training it. I backed off from it some just because I have different priorities, but it's definitely possible to train. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the lever, which is mainly the most back focused exercise. So they're kind of polar opposites. That's kind of the breakdown of the three main exercises of calisthenics. In a way, is there's so many more, but those I would say are like the top three most popular. And then for like ab skills and such, you can do those every day. This is just on a calisthenics side. People love doing push and pull. Obviously, push would be anything like this, so planche, push-ups. Pull would be front levers because you're pulling, or pull-ups. And the other split is a straight arm day and a bent arm day, which sounds a little weird, but it's one day you work on planche and front lever, which are effective to train together because they're working complete different sides of you. The other day would be bent arm exercises like push-ups, anything where you're bending your arm. Those are the two kind of calisthenics splits that I've seen, at least. And then you obviously have the normal gym splits. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to assume that you do push-pull legs for the gym because that's kind of the most well-known. And if you have any other split, you can kind of incorporate what I'm saying to that split. How I personally incorporate it is I do push-pull legs, and I just added Arnold into it. But being someone who's mainly a handstand guy, I do handstands before every lift, but I like to separate the two. I don't think about them together, even though I do them together. I think I have this like block for calisthenics, and then I have my lifting block. Sometimes time management for that is tricky, and sometimes I am at the gym for way too long, but again, that's my fault, and you can totally be able to do both effectively. If you really want to get into the calisthenics and the front levers and the planches, I would suggest either one, having your own day for them, or two, incorporating them on the days that you're not hitting the exact same muscles lifting. If you pull day, don't do front lever. This also gets into your priorities though, because if your main priority is skills, you might want to do skills on the same day that you work out those exercises. If I really want to work on back lever, I might train back lever and then do some back and bicep exercises as an accessory to my main lever training. And if you want to hit planche, you might have a mainly planche training day, and then you just incorporate some chest and tricep exercises after. If you're more towards the gym side, what I recommend doing and what I personally do is I train them on days that I'm not hitting the same muscle based on my fatigue. It's a lot more of knowing yourself and what your capabilities are. For example, if it's push day and then boom, next day's legs, I might do lever that day because I didn't hit back yesterday. I don't hit back the next day. I have rest day. So that's a great day to work on lever. And the great thing about planche and lever is you can work them in the same day, and you can work both to almost maximum efficiency on the same day. So what I would do is on my leg day, I would have an hour block for calisthenics where I work 30 minutes front lever, 30 minutes planche, and then I go right into legs. Yeah, you might be a little fatigued from your chest and triceps before or your back and bi, but you still have that night of rest, and it's not super fatiguing on your muscles. It's more of a joint thing. So then you're able to really have that rest, and you're not losing anything from the gym because you're hitting legs after. You're hitting them with rather high efficiency, and you're not gaining much fatigue from them besides your joints, but that's why you take some days off from planche and front lever. And then as for handstands, every day. So maybe you do stretching or warm-ups, incorporate 10 minutes of handstands after your warm-up. So what I always do is I always go in, I have bands, I always am doing these, I'm always stretching, and then I go into my handstand work, and then I go lift. Yeah, that's kind of how I incorporate it and kind of my thoughts about it. And I love training both. Honestly, they're both amazing. And I think it's a great way to really add a little bit more enjoyment to the gym if you're feeling a little bored of one or the other. Why not do both? No one says you can't do both. They're both great, and you see great progress from them. If you want more of like an exact solid split that you'd like me to write out or send you, or if you have any questions or anything about what I've said, just send me a message and I'll get back. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all later.